I love superhero games. I really enjoy the games, such as Marvel's Spider-Man, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Batman Arkham Asylum, and more. I mean, who just doesn't like superhero games? Really. Anyway, I have put off playing a bunch of other games or seeing a vast number of games because I want to experience it for myself when I finally do get around to playing it. You know, I I want to be surprised, and boy was I surprised. Hello, what's up, and welcome everyone. My name is Miss Quinn, and in this video we'll be taking a look into Marvel's Avengers. In the year 2020, we had, well, what shall not be named due to me wanting to be in YouTube's good graces. But in the year 2020, we had many games to pick from. Good games or bad games, we had plenty to choose. Cyberpunk 2077, The Last of Us Part 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Mafia Definitive Edition, Tell Me Why, and so much more. For those people who had to work from home and were gamers, they had plenty of games to choose from. And even if you didn't work from home, you still had options. But on September 4, 2020, we had Marvel's Avengers. Now, after the long wait for it to download, listen, don't at me for having a slow PS4. It just happens, okay? With it being downloaded, it was now ready for me to play and enjoy. That was kind of a question. Anyway, let me start off with the things that I did enjoy about this game, okay? I enjoyed a lot of the finishers that were implemented with the different Avengers. I even made a list of finishers that I liked, from most liked to least liked. My man Thor obviously came in first, and I think I'm being a bit biased since Thor does happen to be my favorite Avenger. However, his finishers are very good, and he even has one finisher that involves him partnering up with Hulk, which I love it. I was a bit confused at first as to what was happening, but I got used to it real quick. Next on my finishers were Iron Man, Captain America, Miss Marvel aka Kamala, Black Widow, and sadly Hulk was last. And no, I don't have any clips of him doing a finisher because I tried to do it as least as possible, and I don't know what happened to that footage. Listen, I wasn't a fan of his finishers, okay? And you could think I'm being biased again, but no, I do like the Hulk. Along with the finishers, they also have, specific attack moves, which of course I also ranked. Thor, Black Widow, Kamala, Captain America, Iron Man, and unfortunately Hulk is last again. Listen, I swear, I'm not being biased, okay? Apart from the finishers and the attack moves, I really did like that all the Avengers have their own cosmetic options, which is pretty cool. I like having the different options to dress up my Avengers the way that I like. And, just because certain cosmetic items popped up in the certain movies that I really loved and treasured that they started. However, saying that, it doesn't matter what outfit you're currently looking at, all of them will say as a description, a cosmetic item, no, sorry, all of them will say a cosmetic appearance item that changes a hero's outfit once equipped. Like, it says that, again, on every single one of them. Don't bother trying to look for any other descriptions because I tried and I seriously gave up. I understand that they took a lot of time, like, coming up with all these cosmetic options and everything else, but it's just like, if you're not gonna come up with a description, just don't put that as an option. Like, you could have just left the title of the cosmetic name, like the cosmetic name on there, and just left out the thing for the description, because it just seems boring and unfinished to me. I don't know, it just doesn't really seem like you wanted to put that much work into it, in my opinion. As superheroes, you could only imagine that every mission would be different, but sadly that is not the case here. Every mission is exactly the same, with it seeming like a beat 'em up game featuring your favorite Avenger. I even tried to sneak past some bad guys, but Hulk just started running to them and the Black Widow started shooting at them. Like, I get the beat 'em up style with Hulk, but with the others, stealth could have been an option. I would like to say, however, I find it funny that whenever you beat up a human enemy, their body cowers in fear. Not sure if anyone else picked up on that, the ones that played this anyway, but it was funny to say the least. But yeah, I don't know, just the regular, listen, I have played, Judgment, which is a Yakuza spin-off, and I've played some of the Yakuza games. I like a beat 'em up style game. I just think that with you playing superheroes, you could have, I don't know, there should have been an option for you to do something else. Although in general the missions seem flat. Okay, there was nothing exciting about them whatsoever. Yes, overall, like, it's 12 and a half hours to finish up the story, but that doesn't account for the grind in order to level up your characters. And mind you, you also have to level up their power by giving them better gear. But in order to get them better gear, yeah, guess what? You need to grind missions. There's just so much of a grind that a lot of times it's not even fun to play. It was just a chore having to get through the entire game. And it's because a lot of missions say that you can't go in here until you're such and such many, power level, or this many power level. And if you get in there and it's too high of a power level, you're going to go down consistently and your teammates are going to have to revive you, which also, why the hell is there a revive option? I don't know. It just seems like most of this was centered around everyone wanting their friends to play as different Avengers. I don't think they were expecting a lot of people to want to play the solo, but guess what? Some of us don't have friends. Just kidding. I do have friends, but none of them wanted to play this. Like, absolutely nobody. They would rather play Dead by Daylight, and I do not like Dead by Daylight as much anymore. I don't know. It was ruined for me. There were several parts within this story as well that the massive amount of my bad, sorry guys, I have a pronunciation thing. Anyway, the amount of frame drops that I had whenever Thor showed up in the helicarrier, it was really noticeable. I don't know if it was just because there was so many things happening on the screen that, that my PS4 was just like, yo, whoa, what's going on? We can't handle this. Then in some cases, it seemed to be okay with tiny frame drops here and there, but then at the end of the game, it started dropping even more. Again, I'm assuming because of the overwhelming things that were happening on screen. Speaking of the story, when you first boot up the game, the main menu has 3 specific options, okay? Play Now, Operations, and Settings. One would, of course, you would right away click on is Play Now because, well, obvious. But please don't click on that. I made the same mistake when I first downloaded the game, and it takes place after the story. And it doesn't let you know that it's after the story until you already clicked on it and you've seen a bunch of clips of what happens throughout the story. I accidentally ruined the story for myself, but even if it wasn't for that, the story was severely underwhelming for me. But still, why would you have Play Now as an option when it's after the story? Wouldn't that more likely be like, wouldn't you possibly just put, instead of Play Now, just put, I don't know, that you can put as operations, and instead of operations, you can put campaign, which a lot of it requires for you to be online. I don't like the online aspect. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I just always think back to the time where I didn't always have internet, and I would have hated getting this game only to know that I would have had to always be connected to online. You have a lot of different story missions, which I don't know why you have a bunch of different story missions, and then you have to go to the actual mission, the one with the campaign, which does say campaign, which honestly, when you click on operations, should be the first one that pops up. You shouldn't have to scroll or basically slide through the different options in order to get to the actual campaign. But again, let me say about something else that I liked. I loved, actually, that the story is centered around Miss Marvel, since we always see a spotlight on the common heroes, like Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, all of that. However, I was sad on how the marketing seemed to have been devoid of her. From from my memory, I remember the biggest promotional video for this game was the scene where the Avengers are on the Golden Gate Bridge. And yes, that's great. That's a fantastic scene. But you don't play as them for the majority of the time. You play as Kamala for the majority of the time, which I'm not totally against. I love Kamala and how she's so fangirling it up that she's getting to talk to Thor and all these other heroes and getting to fight with them. It's so nice to have a game centered, like a superhero game centered around someone else that we normally don't get to play or that normally isn't the center of attention. But it would have been nice to see her in more marketing campaigns when it came to this. Overall, guys, I honestly didn't enjoy this game. I saw so much potential of what it would have been like. The story was honestly just very flat for me. The missions were okay. They were funny the way, they cowered in fear. I liked the fact that when you did the finishers, you healed up portions of your HP. However, it felt very boring since it was basically a rinse and repeat just in a different location, and that was it. But it was still a beat 'em up game at the end of the day. And it's okay to have a beat 'em up game. A lot of people love beat 'em up games. But if you're going to have a beat 'em up game, please market it as a beat 'em up game, because it wasn't marketed whatsoever as a beat 'em up game. I'm not sure if this was because of crunch time or burnout or something, but this game could have been so much more. There was so much potential for this game to have been better than what we got. How do you have this type of game when you have games such as like Marvel's Spider-Man, for example? And even if you're just like, I don't remember what year that came out, okay? But I do know, obviously, that Batman Arkham Asylum came first. And the combat system with that is much more fluid and everything. I do not... And it was just different types of missions, how you have to sneak around, obviously, because you're Batman. And some you can just go in full force. There's different ways to go about a mission. And I think this game could have been a huge refresher had they given us more options like that. I see a lot of, locations like IGN giving this a 6 out of 10, when I don't see how it received a 6 out of 10, in all honesty. In my opinion, like I said, my opinion, it's okay. I would more likely give it 4.5 out of 10. I don't know, 6 seems super high to me. It was a very good premise, but like I said, they could have done more with the story, and they definitely could have done way more with the missions themselves. I think it was a huge miss that, I don't know what happened. I think it was burnout. Maybe they were burnt out and they just lost passion for what they were creating. But delay it. We've seen so many game delays that there wouldn't have been a problem had you delayed this further. But because they wanted to cash in, I'm assuming, this is my speculation in my opinion, guys, because in my opinion, they wanted to cash in on the fact that everyone was at home and they had no games to play. A lot of games were dropping that year that had no business to be dropping that year. But that's just me. But anyway, guys, what did you think? Did you like this game when you played it? Or you couldn't wait to finish it like me? Because I honestly was so happy I finished it. All I did after I finished it was unlock Spider-Man. And that was it. I literally removed it from my PS4. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. For now, guys, thank you all so much for being here and for watching my video. There are so many other options for when it comes to videos, but it means so much that you clicked on mine. Before you leave, guys, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.